Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics. This week's questions answered video, what's the deal with the Shooter Symposium? Real quick, those of you that don't know, April 6th through the 8th, 2018, there's a class going on in Eagle Lake, Texas at the range known as the Ranch. And it is a collection of instructors offering 4-hour blocks of instruction, varied instructors, which I'll get into. So students can come and they can sign up for multiple blocks, and they get instruction from, just like I said, a bunch of different instructors that are well known, or maybe some even lesser known maybe to you in the industry. Now, the question specifically was, how does the Shooter Symposium work? And how do I get the most bang for my buck was the specific question. Specifically, the Shooter Symposium is a course that's going to take place April 6th to the 8th, 2018 in Eagle Lake, Texas at the Ranch. Specifically what it is in regards to training, the 6th is kind of a meet and greet dinner. There's going to be an open bar, vendors are going to be present, and then the 7th and 8th are your actual training days. As a student signs up, you can pick 2 4-hour blocks of training per day, 2 training days total. There's also an add-on additionally for night vision, which I'll talk about. You're going to have 7 instructors to choose from, myself included. But there's also some other really great instructors there, some you've probably heard of, and some maybe you haven't, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. First, I'm very, very honored to be part of this symposium, because I look up to and consider all the guys that are going to be teaching out there my peers. And I'm definitely, like I said, honored to be among them, honored to be teaching alongside them. And selfishly, I'm going to be able to learn technically for free, because while I'm not teaching, I will be observing their classes. And that alone is worth it to me to go out there, besides obviously teaching. Getting to who's actually there besides myself, Chuck Pressburg is going to be there. If you're not familiar with who Chuck Pressburg is, he is the namesake of the Roland Special, that gun that the internet loves to hate. He was the guy who made that famous in regard. But Chuck's background, if you want to look into him, you can Google him. He's going to be teaching night vision, and I don't know of any single person on the face of this earth who probably knows more about night vision's capabilities, night vision's limitations, and how to best employ night vision. Chuck is definitely the man on the hill when it comes to the employment of night vision. I teach night vision too at the very fundamental level, so I'd consider myself to be a high school level, whereas Chuck is at the PhD level or higher of night vision education. Next up, you have Scott Jelinski. He's going to be teaching a performance-based class on red dot fundamentals. So those of you running optics on your handguns, Scott is going to focus on the specifics and the performance of the red dot. If you don't know about Scott, he runs Modern Samurai Project. You can check him out. He's a very competitive shooter. In fact, he is a competitive shooter, and his focus is driven towards the mechanical fundamentals of the gun and how to shoot it better. Bill Blowers, Bill's going to be doing a class on pistol fundamentals. There aren't a whole lot of guys out there who have a better understanding of how to get the most out of the fundamentals, just in isolation of the skills on the gun, but also in regards to self-defense shooting, both for the citizen side and for law enforcement. Jared Reston is going to be teaching a performance gunfighting class. Jared is, if you don't know who Jared Reston is, you should definitely look into him. There's some really great interviews on them. His mindset approach alone is definitely worth the attendance fee. There aren't a lot of guys out there who can quantify and really capture the necessity and the critical nature of mindset like Jared can. And of course, in addition to that, he's an excellent instructor when it actually comes to the shooting skills. But the mental side of things is just as important, and Jared really kind of captures that in a really good amalgamation that's very beneficial for the student. Dan Brokos from Lead Faucet, if you're not familiar with who Dan is, and you might not be, definitely Google him up, check out his company, see what he's done. If you're interested in the resume of an instructor, Dan has a very, very strong resume. He's going to bring a lot to the table in regards to the carbine class he's teaching. So it's going to be a rifle-focused class. So just in regards to what you're able to get out of the Shooter Symposium, you can get some pistol, you can get some rifle, and you can get some force on force, which we'll get to. But Dan's going to be going over like the class he's going to teach with the fundamentals of the carbine. Even if you're already familiar with the rifle, you've already had some rifle classes. Dan has a different approach from some of the other instructors I've seen in the way that he applies skill set and the order of critical skills on the rifle. So there's definitely a lot to be taken from that. Steve Fisher is doing blocks on his intermediate distance carbine class, which from everything I've heard is a great class for those people, especially you if you're running a low power variable optic. If you're new to that, you know, you've got a 1-4, 1-6, 1-8. This is a great class to really get the most out of that optic in relation to your rifle and however you're going to employ it within intermediate distances. Steve's a very well-known instructor, Sentinel Concepts. Consider him a really good personal friend of mine, so you're definitely not going to be lacking anything if you sign up for his block of instruction. And finally, me, I'll be the only person there not doing live fire classes. I'm going to be doing force on force only. Those of you who know, I'm a big force on force fan. I believe it's a very critical part of training. So when we talked about the Shooter Symposium, I definitely wanted to be able to offer the force on force in the class because none of the other instructors were going to be offering it. So if you were to sign up for the class, you could take a 4-hour block of force on force with me, and then you have 3 other 4-hour blocks to choose from with all the instructors that I've just talked about. You can find out more information on the ranch's website, and you can reach out individually to the instructors who are going to be there to find out specifically more about the program and the block of instruction they're going to be teaching. Currently, there are still slots available, but I think it's almost full. So if you're in the Texas area and you don't mind traveling, it's not often, unfortunately, that this many instructors come together and offer this to students. And it's something I'd definitely like to see more of, but we all have to get our schedules on the same page. And it's all about providing the maximum value to the student. So from a training perspective, you're going to be able to train with a maximum of 4 different instructors, or you can double or triple or quadruple up with the same instructor if you really wanted to get the most value out of your time as well as your money. If you have any other questions about the Shooter Symposium that I didn't address, you can either address them to me or, again, reach out and contact directly the instructors that are going to be there. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. Any other questions that you'd like to see addressed in a questions answered video, drop them in the comments section below or shoot me an email. I'm Aaron Cowan with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly.